As children, we had a stocking, and it was an old proper nylon stocking, you know, at the end of the bed.
Oh, like something your mother might have worn.
Yeah, it was a nylon stocking. And it always had an orange in the end, in the toe.
to plump it out. Alison, I'm very intrigued. What have you got? What are you doing?
Well, today I am going to make a tropical Christmas cake.
A tropical one?
A tropical Christmas cake. So growing up, I never liked fruit cake, and I think there's a lot of people in the same boat. But come Christmas Day, it was Christmas cake, which is fruit cake, Christmas pudding, which was a fruit pudding, and then those mince tart things that were fruit as well. And I was like, you know, there's nothing for me. And like back in the day, it was just tough. You know, no one pandered to children back then. It was tough. You don't like it, sorry, you miss out. So I would get a banana and mash it up with cream.
So you did miss out.
Yeah, I did miss out. But my mum, in latter years, I was probably a teenager, she discovered this tropical Christmas cake, and so she made it, and I just loved it. So that's what I'm doing right now.
Okay, I'll let you do a few bits.
We're going to cream the butter and the sugar. So there's my butter.
Yeah, I can be apprentice.
Sugar. Oh, okay. Thank you. I'm not sure where she got it from, but she made it and I loved it, and ever since then it's been my go-to at Christmas time because there's something that I can enjoy. And it reminds me of my mum, you know, that it was something that she made in the end, especially for me. So it's got that nostalgia aspect to it as
connection.
well.
So you're saying fruit cake you had growing up. Was there any other traditional nostalgia for you that you associate with Christmas?
Yeah, I think, you know, the lovely big roast, and I think maybe not so much the food, but just the sense of family. You know, when you're sitting around the table, and Mum had the table beautifully decorated, and it was very much a...
do you want me to stir that?
Yeah, thank you. It just creates a lovely sense of, of occasion, I guess.
So do you still do the roast thing today?
The kids all like it, eh? They love, because they never have lamb. So come home to Mum and have some lamb. I'm just going to stick that in there, Cathy.
Right, you want me to keep
separating
stirring?
the eggs and the,
Right, okay. So what are some of the traditions that you like? Have you tried to pass on any traditions?
One tradition, a rule we had as a family is that you only open one present at a time and everybody watches. Everybody appreciates, and so it makes it last a lot longer, and it's something that with the other families that are now part of our family haven't necessarily had that. It's just like a free-for-all when the presents come out. So that's something that I think is really important, is taking time to just to thank the person that's given it to you, and to see those initial reactions, and just valuing the gifts. As children, we had a stocking, and it was an old proper nylon stocking, you know, at the end of the bed.
Oh, like something your mother might have worn.
Yeah, it was a nylon stocking, and it always had an orange in the end, in the toe.
to plump it out. Because it's interesting, my father had an orange at Christmas as a child, and I mean, if I got an orange, you'd think, thank you. But it was a really precious thing to have big fresh fruit.
Yeah,
so it's interesting, isn't it, what goes down the line? How have you passed on the spiritual side of Christmas?
I think Peter and I were probably a lot more intentional than our separate families were. The era that it was, everybody went to church on Christmas Day, and everybody knew the nativity story, and everybody knew the real reason, you know. We would always start the day off with prayer, as with our children, and starting the day off, and the first thing we want to do is thank the best gift of all, is thanking God for sending Jesus, who is the reason for our Christmas. So really just right at the start of the day, just trying to centre that thought with the kids, you know. We were in a very family-oriented church. To go to church was just a wonderful thing to do on Christmas Day, not just for a faith reason, but for a community reason.
Right.
The kids all got to see their friends, and it was lovely. But then sometimes the afternoon got a bit long. Do you know what I mean?
With this end or that end?
Maybe get a teaspoon.
Oh, here we are. Could do that.
Okay, cool. Very orange, isn't
It's
it?
beautiful colour, very tropical.
So our grandparents were a big part of our day as well when we were children. And I think that's lovely. The intergenerational thing on Christmas Day is really important for children to realise that,
They're part
of a bigger family. And then as our kids grew up, sometimes I think the expectations got a bit higher, in terms of gifting. And from my memory, our Christmases were relatively humble, it was just thoughtful kind of gifts, It's all the advertising and commercialism and all that, it's really altered, I think, the focus of Christmas. So I feel like we've got a bit of a challenge on our hands to try and keep it Christ-centred,
So do you find yourself intentionally trying to impart a bit of that simpler Christmas that you grew up with in terms of today?
Yeah, we do. Everybody's involved now in contributing to the meal and to the day. So there's a sense of we're doing this together rather than let's just have mum do all the work in the kitchen, Pineapple, pear, apricot.
All lovingly chopped.
Ahead of time, it takes a wee while.
There's a lot of love goes into Christmas cooking, isn't it?
This is peach,
yeah,
mixed peel and crystallised ginger. One thing we do now, as you get your grandchildren, you create new traditions, and one of those is just telling the Christmas story. We have some nativity sets that are to be played with.
Is that stiff enough or a bit more? More. When you were little, like nowadays with Christmas, spread among the different families, there's a lot of time in the car and travelling. Did you have to do that sort of thing?
No, both sets of grandparents live within a 15-minute drive away, so yeah. So they were very much a part of our lives. There was no driving or going between different grandparents,
What did that mean for you as a little girl, having the both lots of grandparents?
It was lovely.
Doesn't always happen.
No, and they were really, one grandmother was very youthful and active, and the other grandmother had been, it might be emotional, been crippled since my mum was a little girl. Yeah, and she was amazing. She'd bake, and actually one of my recipe books is handwritten by her, my grandmother, with her crippled hands. It makes me emotional, and she wrote out all these recipes for me when I got married, so that I had my own recipe book.
Yeah.
So, and it was kind of physiotherapy for her as well. And she was one of those amazing women that never complained about anything. And she was the one who bought you sweets and lollies, and
snuck
the one
you
who spoiled you. Yeah, spoiled you. The other one was more health conscious, and no, one piece of chocolate, that's all.
I think you need both.
Yeah.
So what else would you do for the rest of the day?
So the rest of the day after church was the lovely big meal, and then relaxing in the afternoon, and sometimes Dad would have a game with us outside, and at night it was always a cold meal, as ham and tomatoes, and of course they'd have fruitcake and fruit mince pies. And,
which you didn't like,
no.
of course.
And so that's kind of what, and then we'd drop them home, so that's kind of what the day was like for me growing up, yeah.
What about now? I mean, the family gets bigger. What's typical?
Over the years it changes because two of our kids anyway would go overseas for the whole Christmas holidays on mission, teen mission, and it meant they were away for Christmas Day, and I found that really hard. It kind of didn't feel right to not have the whole family there together on Christmas Day. But I loved the fact that they went, and they had an amazing time. But it did change the dynamic, so it felt quite a small family at that point. And then, of course, they've got married, they've got partners, and then that changes the dynamic as well. And so it was alternate Christmases for a lot of years. So they go to one family one Christmas and the other family the other Christmas. So the downside, the one where you didn't have your family, that used to be a bit hard as well. But what we'd try to do, Peter and I would try to invite someone, over who was alone on Christmas or didn't have family, So it's instead of trying to reach out to other people who are in the same situation. Okay, so we're all done, folks. There it is.
Oh, wow.
The
That
tropical
is
Christmas
so
cake.
beautiful. We're going to have a
Are we going to
taste.
try some?
Please.
Oh, come on.
Yeah. Oh,
Take
it's
this
like
off.
cutting a wedding cake.
Are we ready?
Yep.
Okay, here we go.
Oh, nice.
The knife's going down.
What do you turn up?
Why?
I trust you to turn up when all the work's done.
Goodness
I just have to
me.
lick the bowl. Wow, look at this.
What do you reckon?
Whoa.
Oh man. And you can find this beautiful tropical Christmas fruitcake in the Star Christmas Cookbook. Happy Christmas.
Merry
Oh,
Christmas.
yum.
Come on.
Oh, beautiful.
Oh, I didn't know I was going to get weepy.
It came out of nowhere. What lovely memories, Alison.